So in this video, I wanted to basically show you how to, or how I managed to record the Xbox footage or gameplay footage through my PC, which involves streaming the Xbox to your PC and then recording it. Now I started that off with using OBS, and I'll show you various settings I used for that and how I did it, and show you some results. And then another way I did it, which was recording just through the Xbox Windows companion straight to the PC, which seems to work a lot better than the OBS. But that all those findings are based on my PC, and probably due to the age of it and things like that. But I'll run through that as we go along. Right, so to start off with, what I was doing was within my Xbox console companion. Now, if you've not seen this before, what used to happen, if I scroll down right to the bottom here, Xbox started off with a 360 version of Smart Glass, and then they brought out the Xbox One Smart Glass, as you can see here that I'm kind of hovering over. And then they upgraded it and brought out the Xbox console companion. That's that I'm using today. So if you haven't got that already installed on your Windows 10 PC, go down and install it. Obviously, maybe from the Windows Store. I can't remember if this is already on here or not. Anyway, so once you've got that open and you've logged in, you should be able to see down the left here your Xboxes, as long as they're on the same network. So they're on the same, connected to the same router. I've got two here. One's here, one's broken, and one's off to be repaired. So from here, you can basically turn them. Once you've found them on your network, you can rename them or turn them on, and then stream them directly and play the games on your PC as if you were sitting in front of your Xbox or your TV screen, which is quite good. The only downside is obviously you're running an Xbox One and you're running the PC at the same time, so it costs a little bit more electricity, but it's quite good if the Xbox One's in one room and you can't get to use it on the TV because someone else is watching the TV and you want to still play it. Then you play it on your PC, and your PC doesn't have to be that high-end spec at all. Mine is a old i5 440 chip, and it's about 7 years old, and I don't have a graphics card. I just have a gigabit sort of network connection. So one thing you want to go into though is into settings, into the cogwheel there, and then you want to check out under the Xbox One category or tab section there, you'll see this high encoding level. Now I started off with it on kind of medium, I think, when I started recording. Then I moved it gradually to high and then to very high to see what it was like. Now the Xbox One is actually right on my desk in front of me, so the network's not traveling around the house too far, but that might be a problem for you. So I kept cranking it up, and I've left it now onto very high. So I wanted really good streaming quality. Right, so once you've got that running and you've got your Xbox window companion open, I started off using OBS. Now, if you haven't got OBS installed, you don't know a lot about it, it's a very good sort of streaming platform. You can stream straight on it or record. You can set up kind of studio modes, different filters, this, that, and the other, and record lots of things like your voice and video and things like that. But anyway, so what we'd normally do is we'd set up a window capture on here. Normally you'd go plus and add a Windows capture on here, which I've done already, and then we'd go into settings, and what we'd do is, you can see it's got that going already. We would choose our Xbox Windows console companion, and on here you can leave it on automatic, but I've set it to the graphics card capture of Windows 10 on here. So once you've done that and you've got the Windows got Xbox running companion in the background, you should be able to see your window. This will help if you're running two monitors, to be honest, to have one monitor running the OBS window and the other monitor to be running the Xbox Windows companion, so your game really. But if you go onto File and Settings and then down to Video, this is where I made most of my changes when I started to record in OBS. So first of all, I've got a 1080p monitor, so I'm not running streaming in 4K or anything like that from the Xbox. I'm just running in 1080. And then what you can do here is you can see the frames per second values. Now, obviously you can start off at 30 or even lower if you wanted to, but you could start off at 30 and go all the way up to 60 on this. Now I started off on 30. So I just want to show you now some of the settings, what was recorded when I set it to 30 frames per second and normal streaming on 1080p. And this is what it looks like. The next setting that I changed it to was actually up to 48, because I wanted to start ramping this up and seeing what the quality was going to be like of the streaming. So this is what it looks like on 48 frames per second on 1080p, and here it is.
Going in tight. Follow my lead. Got a trick for you.
Finally, I pushed it all the way to 60 frames a second. Now remember, my PC is an old i5 and it's 7 years old. It's got no graphics card in it, so it just uses the Intel graphics off the motherboard. It's got 8 gig of RAM and an SSD drive for the recording, but it's not the latest thing. So if you've got a newer PC, maybe a Ryzen or an i5, a new version of the i5, then you could probably easily get to streaming through OBS and recording it through OBS to your PC on 60 frames a second, no problem. So if you have, great, give that a go. The main problem for me was, as you can see from this video, that it didn't really work the way I wanted it to, and you can see from this video right now. As you can see with the 60 frames per second version, it's really choppy and cutting up. So that was just kind of too much for my processor. So if I wasn't too unhappy with the way it looked originally, then 48 frames per second or 30 frames per second was going to be fine really for recording through OBS. But I thought, well, come on. I mean, Xbox One X will run 60 frames a second easily. And you can obviously go up to 120 frames now. But so I thought, well, come on, let's see if we can get 60 frames a second out of this. Is there another way I can record this without having to upgrade the kind of PC or anything like that? So I decided to completely forget about OBS completely, because I thought that was probably the problem with trying to run that at the same time. But the reason why I wanted to do it through OBS was that you could do various fades, and you can, put graphics on and borders on and this, that, and the other. You can do a lot with it. But if you wanted to straightforward full screen screen capture with audio from your webcam, from your mic, and from the game, then the best thing these days is to basically still use obviously the Xbox console companion, but then close OBS down, leave this on very high still on the encoding level, but then move to captures. Now what it will tell you on the captures is to go to the Windows settings. So we're going to go to the Windows settings. When it comes on, and we're going to go to, this is under sort of gaming section actually in the options, where you can also get to your game bar, but we're going to use just Windows to record the stream and the game bar. So what we need to do in here really is we've set the folder we're actually going to capture the video on the C drive, on the SSD drive. Basically what we're going to do is we've set it to record for up to 2 hours. I mean, some games are 30 minutes to an hour, but I've set it to 2 hours. You can set that to whatever you want. I've set it to record the audio when I record a game, so I want the audio from the game. And what I haven't done yet is I haven't turned the mic on, but you want to probably do your narration at the same time as when you're playing the game. Although you could also not record the audio at the same time as playing and then just narrate it and add the audio afterwards if you really wanted to. The audio quality, kept it 128, and I've ticked only record game audio, but obviously you'd want to probably take that off, I think, and turn on the mic as well. Now, as you can see, I'm scrolling down. I'm at the bottom of the window now. Now 30 frames a second is what it was set to, so you will get 30 frames a second if you don't visit this window and change it to 60. So I changed it to, well, I kept it on 30 first, and I recorded some video, and this is what it looked like.
Stay down!
So after that I thought, right, okay, let's push it, let's change it to 60. So I changed it to 60 frames per second, and the video quality, I made sure it was high, and this is what I got out of it.
Grenade out!
I'm hoping you can tell from this video where I've put these two side by side, with the one on the top being the OBS one, which was the slower one that was kind of breaking up, and the bottom one, which was just capturing through Windows Capture, that you could tell that was a lot better quality. The only obviously it's difficult to tell because it's on different maps with different lighting and things like that, but it was really stuttering on the top video. whereas at the bottom video, the colors and the sort of movement were a lot more fluid. So it was a lot better, I must admit. Now, as you can see from this video, I mean, you probably can't tell because this is at 30 frames a second, the whole video. So you're not really going to see the whole 60 frames per second out of this, really. But the quality is so much better when you sort of compare the original OBS 30 frames a second right up to and compare it to the 60 frames a second coming out of the Windows capture software or the Gamebar. So if you go into the Gamebar, it's fairly easy to set it up. Just click on that you want to record, and then basically if you want to record from the beginning, it's basically the Windows key plus Alt plus R to record, and the same again to stop recording. And you can turn the microphone on and off or set your own shortcut and hotkeys and stuff like that. So it's pretty good. So that's what I'm using at the moment to record the Xbox. I'm basically streaming it through to the PC and then recording it straight onto the PC on a 7-year-old i5 with 8 gig of RAM and an SSD drive built in, and I'm managing to get out a smooth 60 frames a second, whereas based on my PC I couldn't get 60 frames a second out using OBS, which you saw, because it was really choppy and the graphics were not good. But I'm glad to say I don't need to upgrade my PC. I can just capture directly through Windows and then edit it later on. But if I wanted to really use OBS, then I would have to upgrade graphics card and a PC. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you do like it. Thanks very much. Speak soon.